Welcome, fight fans. I am your host, Jose Zepeda, and this is episode 6 of More Than a Fight podcast. Bienvenidos. And this is your co host.
One.
And this is episode 6. And we're going to do a fight recap of this past weekend's fights as far as boxing goes. And we're going to start it off with the fight Antoine Russel versus
Francis Barthelemy.
That's right. Oh, I forgot. I was forgetting his name. His first name, I'm sorry. But I know Barthelemy Cubano.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at him. He's much taller too. And he's a ex-world champion. The big thing over here was the stoppage. What do you think?
I thought the stoppage was horrible. Horrible. I mean, it might have ended that way. He was probably going to get knocked out based on how he was fighting. Because right away when I watched the fight, to me, Barthelemy was standing straight up with his chin out. And, of course, Russell was going to catch him like he did.
Eventually.
But he should have let the fight continue because the dude was not out.
No, far from it. He got up right away.
Yeah. He was clearly still able to walk to him, which I thought he could have done a better job of said. Because most referees will tell you, okay, pick your gloves up, walk to me. And then as you walk to them, then they'll maybe ask you again, are you okay? You good? And then some referees will brush the gloves off on their shirt. And then they make sure, okay, you're looking good. Let's go.
Yeah, Barthelemy did all that. And I guess Shada Murdaugh saw something the camera didn't catch because he looked at his eyes and he waved it off, even though everything seemed fine.
Yeah, because I was like, what? Why did he stop that? What did he see that we didn't from that angle? What did he see in the fighter's eyes? Because he clearly gets up. He clearly listens to his instructions. He walks to him. I don't know how many fights this dude has refereed, but clearly not enough. And why they put him in this kind of a fight, I don't know. He should have been like refereeing like the pre-fights that aren't on TV, with all due respect.
Yeah, we're probably never going to see it on TV yet.
No, he shouldn't, based on how he handled that. Because again, what did he see? He called him. Well, he did the count. Dude got up. Then he did what you're supposed to do. Pick your gloves up. Walk to me. Or even give him one more instruction or move left to right. If he moves left to right like he tells him to, comes to me. Like maybe he didn't have to do the glove thing. Apparently some refs do that. And if he does all those things, then you can tell he's fine.
It is what it is. I think Russell's going to win anyway, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. But I wonder if they did that to make Russell look better.
He's Gary Russell Jr.'s brother, and they're a fighting family. So, I mean, they've been training since they were little kids.
But what I don't understand, I think he would have stopped him anyway. So why make it controversial? There was no need for it based on how Barthelemy was fighting. Like I said, he was standing straight up. Mm-hmm. Why would you do that? Mm-hmm. Or at least tuck your chin if you're going to stand straight up, because you're going to get caught. Mm-hmm. But no, I didn't like it.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And then we saw a Derevyanchenko fight also.
Yes, sir.
He was actually on the prelims. It wasn't even televised. So I missed that one, but it seems like he won on points pretty comfortably.
And I think he should have got a little more respect. They should have put him on TV, man. Sergey Derevyanchenko has been through a lot. He's fought some very tough competition. He's taken on, I personally believe he beat Triple G. Mm-hmm. He's taken on Daniel Jacobs as well. And he fought Jermall Charlo. 3 right there, top grade A middleweights.
Yeah, so no, I mean a little disrespect, but again, he was fighting his opponent. I didn't maybe that's why they put it on there.
Yeah, and then even when I was trying to find info on this fight, it was literally nothing. Much more on Barthelemy than this fight.
Got it. Yeah.
So I mean, does he move up? Does he fight for a title soon again, or where do you see it? Because he's up there in age.
Yeah, I know. It would depend because maybe he could. No, but why would he want? I was gonna say maybe he could fight Japanese dude that Triple G just fought. Ryota Murata. But why would he want to do that? Moreno no longer has a title. And Gennady Golovkin, I don't think would give him a rematch, even though he should. Actually, that might be a really good fight.
Well, okay, but say Golovkin does lose to Canelo, does Golovkin retire? Does he?
No, he's already said he's not going to retire.
Oh, okay.
He said win, lose, or draw, he's not retiring.
Okay, then maybe that's the fight, and move up and fight for the belt again. I don't know.
I think he deserves another shot at a title because, like I said, he's been put against the top guys at 160, man. Like I said, Charlo beat him. Daniel Jacobs edged him, but he gave Jacobs all he could handle. And then I personally believe he beat Triple G. Yeah. I think he deserves a title shot just based on those three guys.
Right. Yeah. And hey, hopefully he gets it again. He's good enough, and he's always competitive, and he brings it. So the main event. I was a little disappointed. Why? Because I thought Benavidez could have pulled it off and should have pulled it off.
And the main event, for those of you, for fans who don't know, but if you tune in, you probably did know, it was Danny Swift Garcia against Jose Benavidez Jr. Does he have a nickname? I don't even know if he has a nickname.
I don't know. He doesn't. He fights. He doesn't fight enough for me to even pay attention to a nickname. It's his brother that we follow, but we know he was. Before he got shot,
yes,
everyone was saying how skillful he was and everything, even more than his brother back then. He got shot. He wasn't supposed to walk anymore. I'm happy he got over that and he's back to boxing, but it seems to be affecting him a lot.
Yeah, for him it sucks because you look at him and you wonder what could have been. But again, I think I've said this before. Was he living the life? Obviously not, because he did something for somebody to shoot him. Not that I know, or I'm trying to talk bad about the guy, but if somebody shoots you, you must have been doing something wrong, or you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. The point is, you weren't living the life like you were supposed to be. I just wish he would have been, just to see how much better could he have been had he been disciplined. Because I think his career has just been, I think disappointing is the right word, because he took Crawford 12 rounds. Granted, Crawford did knock him out, but he gave Crawford a hell of a fight on a leg and a half.
He did. The thing is he focused enough, trained hard enough to do it? Because when he threw punches, he landed, and he just didn't let his hand go. All he did was shrug and shake his head the whole fight. Like, you're not hurting me, but that's not going to win you a fight.
Yeah.
Well, is his dad going to let him fight again? Like, he was saying he's not a champion, right?
Yeah, that was a good point, because his dad did say before the fight even took place, he said, if my son cannot win this fight, I think this might be it for his career. And obviously his dad knows him better than we do, so that's a great point by John. And for those of you who don't know, that's John behind the camera, who's putting in his input, of course.
Yeah, so what do you see for Danny? They did this, and it seems like whoever won this fight, which was Danny, was going to fight for a title soon. Who do you see him fighting?
Well, he called out Keith Thurman, and I don't understand that.
Yeah, that's 147. He also called out Lara, which Lara moved up to 160, I think. So neither one of those makes any sense.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either, because when I heard Lara, it didn't dawn on me until I was like, wait a minute, Lara's fighting at middleweight. Mm-hmm. And supposedly they ordered Lara to fight Gennady Golovkin.
He might have been a little concussed.
Okay, that's a good point. But I don't want to see Keith Thurman. He moved up to 154. Unless Thurman's already done with welterweight. And I don't like that Thurman already went on social media and called Danny out. For me personally, Keith Thurman should go fight Conor Benn. But that's because I'm being biased. And that's the fight I want to see him in. Or that or Virgil Ortiz. Which those two aren't going to happen because both of those guys are on DAZN. And that's a whole nother freaking issue right there.
We get to see Virgil this weekend, though. So
yes. But who would you want to see Keith Thurman fight?
Yeah, no, Virgil Ortiz sounds about right. If he wins this fight, that actually makes sense to me. I hope that happens. Speaking of which,
actually, ringside, Tony Harrison was ringside, and he said he wants to fight Danny Garcia.
Maybe they had him ringside for that specific reason, so you could call him out and say all that stuff. So.
Well, Danny Garcia didn't call him out, though.
True. I don't know. Maybe that's another thing, but Tony Harrison has been champion at that weight. If he's going to stay there, beating Tony Harrison will get him where he wants to be. So,
yeah. And I know me and John were going back and forth on this point that we both were not happy about, and it was the lack of audio in the corners during the rounds.
No, 100%. That thing has been going on for multiple fights now. Like, there was I forget, but there was a couple fights ago, they only had the corner in like the last round. Everything else was commercial time. You didn't even hear the commentators or anything.
And I understand when they do that, when it's like, say, on ESPN, regular ESPN, yes, they need commercials and all that, but I didn't understand it for Showtime. They don't do commercials. Well, do they? I wasn't paying attention. I was kind of mad about that, but I think us and most people want to hear the corner and the instructions and what they're telling the fighter what to do.
Well, especially in this fight, because I kept saying at the end of every round, what is Jose Benavidez Sr. saying to his son? He does good in spurts, and then he throws his hands up, wants to showboat or get cocky and say that didn't hurt. And I'm like, what is his dad saying? I just want to hear, what is he saying to his son? Is he saying, what the hell are you doing? Or is he saying, oh, good job? Or what? We didn't get any insight on it, and that upset me.
And that's even makes it worse, is that ESPN already had the storyline to have that shown, right? The father was talking before the fight. You know what I mean? Like, the father was already saying he's not going to be a professional if he can't beat Garcia.
You're referring to PBC or Showtime.
It's a built-in storyline for them to see what is the father saying as he fucking doesn't do anything in the round.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. To hype up the fight, that was one of the selling points is like, is Benavidez really going to take this seriously, because this could potentially be his last fight, and it added intrigue to the whole card.
Yeah, the way they had it set up, though, they show the corner work at the end of the fight, clips of the best of the fight corner work, which I want to see it live. I want to see it as it happening, as it's happening, and I mean, hopefully they change that. I mean, that's my input. I hope they change that, because I, as a boxing fan, want to see what the trainer said.
Yeah, I know. I did not understand that at all. I was not happy about that. And again, I think it could have made the fight better, or maybe it would have infuriated me more, because I know me and you were pissed about Jose Benavidez's approach, because we were scratching our heads, because when he boxed, he did well. When he stopped throwing punches and told Danny Garcia's punches weren't doing anything to him, he was losing the fight.
And we also had a judge that gave him a draw, which...
Well, yeah.
I mean, I wanted Benavidez to win, but I knew that wasn't the case. Come on, what happened?
That was stupid. How you saw that as a draw, I do not know. And I don't like... I shouldn't phrase it that way. I'm not the biggest fan of how Danny Garcia fights as far as championship fights are concerned. But I saw Danny Garcia winning by a few rounds. So I don't know where they pulled that draw out.
Yeah, so Danny Garcia is another one that doesn't fight. He's not active enough usually, because I mean he did it with Thurman. The last 3 rounds he fought hard. Same with Spence, and when he fought hard, he brought it to him, and they gave him. If he would have fought the whole fight like that, he would have had a chance to. He waits till the end. This fight, he was just more consistent, and Jose Benavidez wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. But I mean, really quick, because I feel like it's an important thing to point out, the post-fight interview. Not more so for who he called out or any of that, but it was more so because I didn't anticipate it. I didn't realize that he was out of the ring for as long as he was out of the ring, because he was apparently dealing with a lot of mental health problems, which he did point out with Jim Gray, and I was like taken back by that, because it was more emotion than I anticipated. Not that you're not going to anticipate some kind of emotion from somebody who talks about their mental struggles, but I think Danny just really, he seemed to be, that's where he just let it all out.
At him, and he finally let it out and let the world know that he was struggling. And I mean, it was a relief, it seemed like.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hope it's out of him, and I hope it doesn't. I mean, he moves on, maybe stays busier, and it doesn't affect him like that.
But yeah, no, that's a big thing from him. I think we definitely got to take our hats off to him to really be after a fight, to be that vulnerable and speak on things that are that difficult. And he's not the only one. I know in the UFC we saw Paddy the Baddie Pimlet do it too recently, when he was talking about one of his friends who had the week of the fight, right?
Yeah, like a week before he committed suicide. And, I mean, he didn't tell anyone. He wished he could. I mean, everyone wishes they could have done something, but that guy was holding it in, and look what happened. Sadly.
Yeah, that was really tough. But yes, moving on. Let's lighten it up a little. But we just felt we wanted to really point that out because mental health is a serious issue. We wanted to touch on the WBC news. They just ordered Jose Zepeda against Regis Prograis. What do you think about that?
Finally, Regis gets a little. I mean, he should have been up there anyways, and I'm glad this happened.
Yeah, and like he said on social media, when because initially they said it was going to be Benavidez. I'm sorry, Jose Zepeda against Jose Ramirez for the WBC title. But even though Regis Prograis was a mandatory, and unfortunately in boxing they do this a lot. But what's crazy is I heard before this was announced it was last week. I was listening to because I want to shout him out, Steve Kim and Mario Lopez's podcast, The 3 Knockdown Rule, because we want to make sure we cite who we got the information from. So I was listening to it, and then in that podcast I heard that last week. Steve Kim pointed out that this was going to happen, that Jose Ramirez was not going to be fighting after all. So before this announcement, I had a heads up from Steve Kim's podcast that this was going to be the fight, or that Prograis was going to get the fight he wants.
Yeah, Prograis only lost one time, and that was to Josh Taylor. And the fight he gave Josh Taylor was pretty freaking great.
Yeah. But that being said, to me, Cepeda's had the better... after a loss
recently, yeah.
Recent fights, yes.
Yeah, it seems like people are avoiding Prograis though. He hasn't been fighting a lot. And who he's fighting is not top ranked opposition.
But I don't know if avoiding is the right word. We don't know what it's like because he's with Probellum. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they work with ESPN, which obviously they're going to have to make this fight. And obviously, I would imagine Prograis is going to have to come over to Top Rank / ESPN for this fight because Probellum, with all due respect, I don't even know how to watch it.
True. What happens to Jose Zepeda? He did mention going up in weight, though, before.
Oh, really?
I thought he did. I might be confusing him with something.
No, he probably, it's possible.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll see what happens with Ramirez, sorry.
But your quick thoughts on this. Who do you got winning?
I mean, it seems like Zepeda's more, again, recent. He's been fighting the better opposition, and he's been knocking him out. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely fought the better opposition. So if I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, basically, I think Zepeda wins because he's been sharper. He's fought better opposition.
But Zepeda does seem to break mentally in some fights, so. At least that's how I see it. I don't know how true that is, but I see him breaking mentally sometimes, so. If he starts getting hit, you can tell he just shies away and does not want to engage. So, but he has a punching power. Well, they both punch hard. So.
Okay.
I'd say Zepeda.
All right. And then really quick, I wanted to touch on the UK fights. I managed to figure out how to watch them because they were on Sky Sports, hosted by Boxer, or Boxer is with Sky Sports. So I had to get Fight TV here in the US. Signed up for that. Shout out to you guys. Be nice to give us a shout out back, but I'm just saying. So anyway, I watched Ben Whittaker's fight, his pro debut, silver medalist from the United Kingdom. Looked pretty good, but then again, he fought a guy with a record of 6-6, 6 wins, 6 losses. What I didn't know about Ben Whittaker was that he's trained by Sugar Hill Stewart.
Okay, so same guy trains Tyson Fury at the moment.
Yes.
And yeah, you got to take over on these fights because I did not watch him. I'll be honest.
No, he looks pretty good, but again, he fought. But it's his first pro fight, so I can't really say anything about it because we all know the first 6 to 10 fights for somebody on this gentleman's level, they're gonna be. I don't want to say easy because that's not the right word, but they're not going to be tough.
And selected. Opposition, yes. Unless you're Lomachenko.
But he looked really good. I mean, dude knows how to move. He threw some really good punches, threw uppercuts. Again, it's hard to judge him, but he's got the right trainer. He's got the right physical tools. He's tall. He's got reach. I mean, there could be something there for the UK, and that's always awesome. I always love seeing up-and-coming fighters that can potentially come over here and make noise. And again, we touched on Conor Ben earlier. So Ben Whittaker is one to watch. First pro fight was pretty good. And then the main event was CBS is his initials. The Gentleman against Issac Chamberlain. CBS. Every time I heard that, I thought of CVS.
Yeah, pharmacy out here.
Which, yeah, it's a pharmacy out here. That's why we found it amusing. I'm like, CBS, not CBS.
Oh, so CBS, like the network, then.
Oh, yeah, huh? That's right. Yeah. But anyway, this fight was awesome. Or very good. Very good. Because I feel like in boxing, we throw out the word great too much. It was a very good fight. And they went toe-to-toe from the get-go. There was no feel-out in this fight. From the first round to the last round, they went at it. And to me, Issac Chamberlain could have done better, but he kept getting hit. It's like he couldn't get away from Billam-Smith. Like he kept getting, like he would do really good work. He'd land some uppercuts. He even stunned Billam-Smith, and he had him hurt a few times. But Billam-Smith would just come right back. And granted, it was in Billam-Smith's backyard in Bournemouth. I hope I'm saying that right. Bournemouth. Yeah, Bournemouth, England.
Were they both English?
Yes, both English fighters. Issac Chamberlain's from London, and but again, I brought up the fact that that it was in his hometown, because that means Issac Chamberlain has to do more, and unfortunately, that's always going to be a thing in boxing. When you go to the other guy's hometown, you're gonna have to do more, and he just could not avoid Billam-Smith's punches. And Billam-Smith just did enough at the end of the day to win the fight. And I didn't know that he broke Chamberlain's orbital bone in the third round.
Damn, that's
so Chamberlain was fighting from the third round onward with a broken orbital bone. So props to both guys, because they gave it their all, man. I got tired just watching them fighting. So great fight from the first to the 12th round. Congratulations to Billam-Smith, because with this victory, he became the European Commonwealth champion, and at cruiserweight, because initially I thought it was at light heavyweight, but it was cruiserweight. And with that being said, the promoter for Jay Apataya was ringside for this. So that would be a great fight. I would love to see that. But I still don't have any information of Jay Apataya's recovery. And I tried to look it up. I can't seem to find it. So, John, if you can find it, let me know. Because
it's a broken
I have no
jaw,
clue
so
what
not gonna be
his
that
recovery time is. But the promoter was ringside. So, obviously, he was watching
Your tweet Kanye
for the
see
winner.
How long it took him.
What?
I'm just kidding. He broke his jaw also, remember? I'm just joking.
But, yeah, it was a very good fight. Just want to show some love to the UK fans.
Yeah, so. And then,
yeah.
What's the next thing? The cancellation.
Your boy Jake Paul.
Your favorite boxer, man. Your best up-and-comer. Unfortunately, Alfredo's going to be very sad this Saturday, because he was looking forward to it.
Yes, you're right. I am sad, actually, for the other fighters, because they're not going to get to fight in Madison Square Garden. And
hometown girl Amanda Serrano sucks.
Yeah.
That seems like she gave up the fight with Katie Taylor to be here.
Yeah, the rematch. Now, I don't think that fight's going to happen this year, the rematch.
Jake Paul started saying he wanted to take Katie Taylor to come down to her weight, so I don't see that happening, especially after Katie Taylor won.
Well, what do you think of the fact that Rahman wasn't on pace to make the weight? Is what I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said he wasn't going to make 200 pounds. So, Jake said that he was willing to fight at 205, if I'm not mistaken, and I mean even then, he said he could make maybe 210, 215, but. And then he also mentioned that he had a backup ready.
Oh, yeah. Rahman said that, right? I had no clue that Rahman fought at Bridger weight.
So 224 was his last weigh-in.
Right.
And as you saw from the press conference, he's much bigger than Paul.
Right. Well, that's why Paul asked him to come down so much.
And this is the guy that he was talking about. I think it's like his brother or cousin or something, but he's family.
Oh, this dude right here?
Yeah.
He trains right up the street from us. So this gym's like 5 minutes south from me.
And then Yeah, he trains with Logan Paul. Like, he's been a sparring partner with him before. So, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I did not know that.
It's still.
I mean, I just want to watch boxing. I want to see the production, and the production I'm sure was going to be cool. So it sucks that we missed that fight, and hopefully they figure something out soon.
No, believe it or not, I was actually intrigued for this one, and I was like, oh man, really, it's not going to happen? Because I actually was curious to see how Paul would deal with the actual boxer and how Rahman would deal with Paul, because he is a boxer.
Rahman coming off getting KO'd last fight.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Tommy Morrison's son.
It's just unfortunate for the other fighters that they canceled the entire card, you know?
Yeah, no.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that one. When I was going through Rahman's Twitter, he said that. He's like, why didn't he pick the guy who beat me? He picked me instead. Fight him. And then it's like, Jake Paul's not a real fighter. I'm like, okay, guy, take it easy.
Yeah, it is what it is. Sucks that we lost that card, but still looking forward to Virgil Ortiz on against an undefeated fighter at that.
Michael Mickinson.
Yeah, so
I thought it was Michael McKinnison, but I watched an interview today with Adi Oladipo on The Zone, and it's Michael Mickinson.
Okay.
Well, I was pronouncing it wrong. I apologize for that.
Undefeated, but not a KO artist, according to the record. But you can always take that lightly because who did it recently? It was sitting on his punches. They said they worked on it, and the guy that just fought last week against Gabriel Flores, he didn't have a KO record.
Cabrera?
Yeah, but you saw how he came out right away and knocked him down with the first punch. So we'll see. I hope Mickinson can keep up with Virgil Ortiz because not many can because he's a tornado, whatever you want to call him. So.
Obviously, I preferred. I think we all preferred to the initial fight that was supposedly going to happen with dude from the UK. Dang it! Why can't I think of his name now?
I drew a blank. So yeah, we were looking forward to the previous fight. If I think of it, I'll bring it up. And we get Mickinson. So hopefully it's a good fight. Hopefully it's a good card.
Oh wait, but let's not forget. I want to shout him out. I don't really know him, but I run into him here in Vegas at a Starbucks. He was kind enough to say hi to me and my family. Blair the Flair Cobb is going to fight on this card against Maurice Hooker. I'm excited for that fight.
That fight might steal the show.
I think it's going to be a very good fight. Mighty Mo Hooker against Blair the Flair Cobb.
Oh, let's cheer on the hometown guy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good fight, man. That could, like you said, I think it's going to steal the show.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So, there you go. Hey, I think he can do it too.
I'm rooting for Cobbs. I'm rooting for Cobbs.
Yeah,
I'm a little biased because like I said, I ran into him. He said some nice stuff to me and my family at a Starbucks once, so it was really cool.
Yeah, so we plan on we're gonna do MMA tomorrow. So
yes, that's right.
Tune in for that also.
Yeah, it was a really good card. So yeah, I'm actually excited for that. All right, thank you. We'll catch you on the next round. I'm still working on the close. I know.
Like and subscribe and. Again, we appreciate comments too. If you have anything to say, tell us how we could improve, and I mean, we'll incorporate. So we'll go with that. Thank you guys.